Hello everyone. So in this video I wanted to give you my feedback on using DWM for more than a year now. So in November 2020 I started using Arch Linux, and I also started using DWM along with dmenu and htterminal. But in this video I actually wanted to talk about the DWM dynamic window manager's tiling feature or tiling mode. So first of all, DWM is actually very lightweight. I mean, you need to just if you want to install it, you can actually install it from their Git repository. Just clone the Git repository and build it yourself. It will take a few minutes. And when I started using DWM, I was aware of tiling window managers. In fact, I have tried tiling window managers many times in the past, but DWM actually is probably one of the most simplest and also, in my opinion, easiest to use. Now, I thought I'll probably give you my reasons why I think I cannot go back to non-tiling based window managers, and I think I'll probably stick to DWM. I have never really used in the past 1 year. I don't really think I have used any other window manager on, of course, Linux. Of course, I also use Mac sometimes, although my Mac usage is limited to using Zoom, I guess, and watching YouTube videos once in a while. I use this particular ThinkPad X220 as my main laptop, and I do all of my work on this particular machine. I also have, by the way, Windows, but 99.99% of my computer usage is actually on this machine. But I, of course, have this muscle memory. When I'm using Mac or maybe Windows, I'm always typing Alt-Enter or maybe those keyboard-based shortcuts, and that is actually a good thing, because when you're using DWM, in the beginning you have to learn very few shortcuts on how to manage the windows. But once you get used to it, I think it will actually make you super efficient when it comes to using your computer. So right now, this window on the left hand side is the master window, and the focus is actually on this particular window on the left hand side. And if I show you the D menu on top, you can actually see here that on top it says FT. So that means it is the master window, but you can obviously use your mouse to hover to the Brave browser, or maybe to another window that you may have on your desktop. So you can always do this using mouse. But I'm not really against using mouse. I use mouse, of course. I think if you're doing some web browsing, you have to use mouse. But I spend I think half of my day writing code using either Emacs, or maybe I'm using IntelliJ or Code, depending upon what I'm doing. But when you're writing code, I personally prefer to use keyboard shortcuts as much as I can. And when you're trying to shuffle between windows or maybe different screens, you can actually do it very easily using your DWM. And in my opinion, I think when I started using DWM, I think it took me like a couple of weeks, but then I got used to it, and now I think in the last 1 year I am actually quite happy with this move. So right now, of course, the focus is on the Brave browser, but if you press Alt-Enter or maybe Alt-Enter again, you're back to the master window. I'm not really using any mouse. My mouse is here. So right now, of course, this is the manual page of your DWM, and while you're looking at the manual, you can actually if you're, let us say, doing some thing maybe in a different terminal, or maybe if you are if you have to go back to the Brave browser, for example, you can press Alt-Enter. So Alt-Enter is actually like Alt-Tab. You can also do Alt-Tab, but it will take you to the next or the last or the previous desktop. These numbers on top, it will take you to the previously used desktop on the same monitor. But you can also do Alt Shift or just Alt comma and the focus will now go to the next monitor, which in my case is I just have to, and you can press Alt comma again and you're back to the master window. So this is something that I quite enjoy, and I mostly use styling feature, but there is actually a way to float the windows. For example, if you have seen my videos, I sometimes use the webcam, which I'm showing right now using MPV, which is right now floating, because it makes sense, I think, especially for the small face of mine, and I want to be somewhere on the screen. But if I don't want to use it, I can actually press Alt and the window middle wheel key, and it will actually go back to the previous mode. And there are shortcuts, and if you want to learn about all these shortcuts, you can actually take a look at the manual of DWM, which will tell you. If you look at the usage area, you can see here that you have these mod-based shortcuts, where basically mod is your, in my case it is the Alt key, but it can be a different key. Depending upon if you want to configure something else, you can do that. So apart from doing shuffling between windows using Alt Enter, you can also do Alt J, which will basically cycle between all the windows. And then right now, I can take a look at my T menu on top, and basically it will tell you where exactly is the focus. So this is always helpful. But sometimes you also might need to resize the window, because if I'm, let us say, doing some browsing, I might need to increase the size of the width of my Brave browser. So I can actually do that using this Alt H and Alt L. So basically these two shortcuts, or these two keys, Alt H and Alt L, will let you change the size quite easily. And because I have these shortcuts as my muscle memory, I actually use and try to use these shortcuts when I'm using Mac or maybe Windows, because it's a bit difficult now, because now I think when I'm using this machine with DWM on this ThinkPad X20, I think I'm quite fast when it comes to doing my work. I don't have to worry about using the mouse. I of course use mouse when I have to let us say if I'm trying to copy something. When you're doing some web browsing, you have to use a mouse, but it is usually I only use mouse whenever I have to. And sometimes when you're working on let us say terminal, so let us say if you're doing some work where you have to copy a command, you can actually of course do it using your mouse, which is of course quite convenient. And the main thing here is that you have this option to basically configure and use any of your favorite previously known shortcuts. So that is a good thing about DWM. You can actually configure it to a great extent, and the way to do it is actually there is no configuration file. You have to basically modify the source code and build it again, which is of course a bit it's not really for everyone, but you'll get used to it. It is nothing but if you have some programming background, I think because you have to basically modify a header file, a C file, which can seem a bit scary, but once you do it a couple of times, it might probably fail. You'll probably end up messing up something, but you can always download from the Git repository again and build it again. So don't worry too much about it. And there are various patches. Because people want to do further configurations, you can do that. You can actually do those things, configurations yourself if you want. But there are patches available. So do take a look at these patches. I think I use a couple of patches, but not really a lot. I think I prefer not using patches. I prefer modifying it myself, because that is a lot more fun. And that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to give you my year-long review of DWM. I'm sure everyone has their way of working. Everyone has their favorite window manager. But for me, for the kind of work that I do, I think it has really worked well for me, especially the tiling part. Tiling part is actually, the tiling mode is probably, the main reason why I use it, because it actually improves the overall workflow when you're basically not relying on your mouse at all. And I thought I'll probably, share that with all of you today. And that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about today with all of you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. The main purpose of this video was to basically give you my opinion, so that if you're thinking of using DWM, if you think or maybe if you're confused about whether this will work for you or not, so I thought I'll probably share and give you my feedback, because it has really worked well for me. And that is it. Bye bye.